To StocktonCon, we are going to be talking a little bit of Star Wars cosplay. Obviously, you can see in the audience a lot of members of the 501st, and also the I'm gonna screw up the name, the D Power. Oh, D Squad. There we go. Yes. So if you see all the droids on the second floor that are running around, we have one up here as well. Just don't let the destroyer of droids, anywhere near any of them, because they happen to fall apart whenever she's close by. I've heard. I've not seen this in person, but I actually, have heard the story that, a few parts actually go off the rails on that one. Also, the first time, was it this droid that they put up that you the first time it was in motion, it actually started catching on fire? Yeah. So there you go. So there may be danger in this, the next 20 minutes or so, but we're going to talk a little cosplay. We're going to ask these guys some questions and kind of ask them, first, of the folks that are in costume, why did you choose the costume that you had? You guys can also come up here and grab microphones as well to better hear you. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. You guys will have to share microphones there. Feel free to sit on down too. There you go.
I can actually sit.
Yes.
This is fine.
Yes.
All right, so you're asking...
So why did you choose the outfit that you have on today, and kind of, what went into making it?
Okay, so the reason I chose it, there is a game, Battlefront 2. It was one that some Star Wars friends kept telling me to play. So I got it because it came on PS4, so I was able to play it. I played it. There is a campaign, and this is the main character of the campaign. I played through the whole thing. I was like, oh, I love this character so much. And that guy over there goes, hey, there's a cosplay of that. There's a costume of that character that you can build for and join the 501st with. And I was like, really? So I think it took 2 months from when I finished playing the game to when this was pretty much done. And I was able to join the 501st with it. I love this thing because I wanted armor, but I also wanted to be able to sit and be able to suit myself up, because a lot of the armors you'd need someone else's help to put them on. But this one I'm pretty able to do it by myself. And most of what this is made of, the armor, is vacuum form, which is you heat up plastic. You have a form that it goes over, and then you pull it down, and it sucks all the air out of it, so it makes a shell. So, yours now?
All right, so I'm Darth Nihilus, one of the very obscure Sith Lords. The reason I chose this costume was because everybody does Darth Vader, Palpatine, Kylo Ren. Wanted something a little more obscure, maybe a little bit challenge to build. This is a combination of pretty much all the costumes except for the mask. And I did it just to be a little bit different than everybody else. It doesn't come out too often. It's a pretty hot costume to wear, but it's pretty simple to make. None of this was off the shelf. It was all handmade, hand-sewed. So.
Oh.
So I'm a 501st Clone Trooper. Specifically, this is Dogma. He featured heavily in one of my favorite arcs from the Clone Wars TV show. So that's why I wanted to cosplay him specifically. This is not his original paint job. Originally, he was a 104th Wolfpack Clone Trooper. I love the Wolfpack. I love Plo Koon, so I wanted to be one of those troopers. Suited up as a Wolfpack for 2 years? 1 year? 1 year. And then repainted to Dogma.
No, thank you guys. Okay, absolutely, yeah, no. And for Dwayne, asking, for you, because you're part of the 501st, and how the actual helmet for the Stormtroopers comes, you have it in your hand right there, and then you paint it on top of that, so.
Right. Okay, so like she was saying earlier, vacuum formed pieces. So for the ears on this helmet, that's the ears. You have to cut them apart, sand them, and make them fit to the curve on the actual helmet. And then for the front, that's the front piece for your helmet. And then you've got the back piece as well. On mine, there's stickers But then there's also the paint job around the teeth. You have to cut out the eyes, you have to cut out the teeth, you have to line everything up perfectly. And if it isn't, you're not getting in. So, we are very rigorous on costume accuracy. Go ahead.
On that aspect.
Yeah.
On the average, somebody who's petitioning to become part of the 501st, and they've, like Jules, she said she worked for a while to get her approval. How long and what are the criteria for being approved?
Okay, so for each costume that has already been approved in the past, there's what's called a costume reference library. And there is details on how to put each one of them together. For example, on the Stormtrooper, the seam that goes on the two pieces on the legs, it has to be a certain width. If it isn't that width, it's not accurate and it's not passable. Certain aspects about, like the belt, it has to be a cloth belt. The coloring on the eyes maybe, or on the buttons or whatever. There's specifics that you have to follow for that specific costume. And there's differences. You look at Darth Vader and you say, oh, it's Darth Vader. Which one? Each Darth Vader is different. The chest piece is different on each film. And if you look, you could see the differences. So you're doing one specific Vader.
And isn't there different colored eyes for Vader?
I believe so.
Yeah.
If I'm not a Vader, but I think in the original it was red.
Black and red.
Yeah, and then in the others, I'm not 100% sure. But, the costume reference library is a very valuable tool to getting it right the first time.
Where do you find that?
On the 501st Legion website.
Okay.
And you go there and, go through the forums. What I recommend is if you want to get into a costume, contact the 501st in your area. In my case, it's Central California Garrison. And once you get contact with somebody there, say, hey, I'm looking to build a Stormtrooper. I'd like some help with it. And then one of their members that's a Stormtrooper can actually help you out with getting everything right. That's what I did. I was a member with a costume that I had purchased already built and had to have it modified, got in. It was out of date within weeks of my putting it on. But I trooped in it for 11 years, and then I decided I'm going to do one that's more accurate. And one of our members helped me with this build. And it took from October 15th when I received it until President's Day to have it complete and approved.
No, thank you, Dwayne. And I saw a hand back there. Did you have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Are they one size fits all, or do you make them to this?
I believe, I know with the Stormtrooper, there's, I don't want to say different sizes, but you need to find a kit that's going to be, made for somebody that would be your height. Okay. In my case, my kit is actually a little small on me, but not by too much. It's workable. I think there's some makers that actually make larger sized pieces, but you have to look hard for those. And again, reach through the 501st Legion members, and somebody will be able to help you out with that.
And some of the things that the 501st also does, because they are an international organization, they go to children's hospitals. Also, the other thing you told me, they go to funerals and they are in an actual procession, which I think is really cool. But I want to ask these guys up on the stage. You guys are obviously fans of the Star Wars, and there's always some Easter eggs in the Star Wars movies. Maybe talk about kind of those Easter eggs you like, and then also for your costumes, maybe you have an Easter egg on there as well.
My favorite, that droid swears so much in the show, but it's all like, you can't tell it swears unless you know it. That is one of my favorite things, is someone has gone through different episodes and someone has gone through the show and subtitled it. Mm-hmm. That is one of my favorite. It's I guess not really an Easter egg, but that's one of my favorite hidden things is the droid swears.
It's actually Dave Filoni's voice
that
does it, and the voice when it went from animation, which is my version, to live action, which is Chris's version, they cleaned up the dialogue. You can actually understand it more in Ahsoka. The bad thing with that is, yes, he does swear.
He swears.
And Chris and I were actually being interviewed by a newscast with both our choppers arguing with each other. And the reporter goes, "Did he say what I think he said?" And I said, "Yes, he did." Because we can't use that.
Would never have thought of a swearing droid, but there you go.
Swears like a sailor.
How about you?
A lot of the stuff I like is not necessarily the Easter eggs, is the characters in the background that you don't really think of. A lot of my droids, when you go upstairs, you'll see some, when we have them out, are from not necessarily R2-D2. We got QTKT. We have Cheap. Cheap had, 5 seconds in the last episode of Clone Wars, and then he died. But, it's one of my favorite droids to build. And then some of the tiny characters that you'll see. Babu, what's the other one? Meeber Gaston, the rat catcher. I will probably be cosplaying after lunch would be Gunji, the Wookiee, because I'm his size. I can't do the stilts, so, but, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so why did you pick Gunji and not Chewbacca? And what's the difference between the two?
Gunji is a Jedi youngling. He survived Order 66. Oh, sorry, I'm too loud.
No, we're just saying Gunji's smaller.
4 feet.
Yes, because I can't wear the stilts. My wife said I'd kill myself if I got on stilts, so it was a compromise.
So you listen to your wife?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure,
That's why I'm
folks
here.
in the audience knew that as well, yes.
Yeah. But I like the obscure characters because, we got stormtroopers, we got Darth Vader running around. He had Chewbacca yesterday, but when somebody sees a mini Chewbacca running around, they're like, why does he have different armor? I'm like, well, he was a Jedi.
The best one I've heard asked of you so far is, aren't you a little short to be a Wookiee?
Yes.
It's
And,
a classic line in Star Wars, but it's being used against the Wookiee instead of a stormtrooper.
So yeah, in a very similar strain with background characters and obscure details. One of my favorite things to have come back in recent Star Wars from the originals is, if you remember from the first episodes of The Mandalorian, there's the container with the Beskar, or the Camtano they call it, is designed after an ice cream maker, which featured in The Empire Strikes Back, carried by Wilbur Hood, which is just a guy in the background in an orange jumpsuit.
From a prison barge.
And ask you, because you guys have probably, say, a half dozen droids upstairs, which you guys can obviously see after our conversation here. How heavy is the one up here? How much? How does it? How did you make them? Tell us a little bit of the backstory there.
This chopper, he's 3D printed. A lot of little tiny parts glued together. He's about 30, 40 pounds. I have also an R2, but he's partial wood, partial metal, and he's close to 75. But my first droid I ever built is all wood, and he was R2, and he weighed almost 200 pounds. He actually needed a ramp. I bought a handicap ramp to push him up into my car because I couldn't pick him up.
How about this? And I think I was talking to you guys, at other cons about you guys moving these around in the back of your truck and getting the looks. I can only imagine on the freeway.
My original car was a Toyota 4Runner, and I used to roll the back window down because Buchanan knows, and I'd have R2 and Chopper sitting at the back gate looking out the back window, and we actually got pulled over twice by the Highway Patrol that wanted pictures with the droids on the side of the freeway.
I mean that's a get out of jail free card. I have to. You would think.
Well, it scares you to death when you're getting pulled over on the freeway because there are lights and everything.
How about for you guys? You guys are in these costumes, and we have a lot of young kids here, and kind of that feeling of the kids coming up to you and wanting to take pictures and kind of interacting with the kids.
My favorite thing is that with this character, a lot of the characters in 501st, you can't take the helmet off because it ruins the magic. With some of the characters, very few, you can. So if I see a kid that's really spooked or scared, of all the, because this is for a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old, this is terrifying. If they've never seen Star Wars, this is scary. So I'm able to like take my helmet off and like show there's a person under here, and like seeing their smile and then them actually coming up and like giving little fist bumps is like the cutest thing. I've seen with one of the Mandalorians, the kid was scared of all the Empire guys, but they saw it like one of my friends dressed as a Mandalorian and went and like held his hand for a picture. Like that is like my favorite thing in the world.
He's one of the best people with the kids.
Yes, Philip, it's great.
Okay, so I don't get my picture taken with a lot, not with this character. Kids kind of like totally avoid me, but later on when I got the Wookiee on, they'll be coming up and stuff like that. That's one of the best parts. Going to the hospital visits. That's one of the characters I can actually wear into a hospital room. The Wookiee, interact with the kids. The droids, we take the droids in, we interact. Seeing a kid, they'll be there all day, just looking and talking to Chopper or talking to R2, and their parents can do whatever they want to. The kid's not going anywhere, but this costume does not attract the kids nor the adults.
So in other words, the droids teach the kids how to swear. Okay. Just that one. Okay, just that one. That's the swearing one.
Most of the kids run up to R2 and give him hugs. Most of the kids run from Chopper. Guys, Chopper's a mass murderer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think the kids really are what keeps a lot of us going in these troops. It's a lot of hard hours. These costumes are hard to make, they're hard to wear, but seeing the smiles on people's faces when you're in costume, that's really what it's all about.
No, and also there's got to be, you can see it a little bit up here. You guys have a camaraderie among yourselves about this, organization or the organizations that are here. Kind of talk a little bit about, how you guys have made friends, being a part of this and having the same interest in doing these things like going to, fairs and, parades and hospitals and that sort of thing, and also cons.
Yeah, it's really its own community. You go around to all of these events, you see a lot of the same faces, and we hang out behind the scenes, tell jokes, some things we can share actually, but a lot of things we can't. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So when I got out, I was in the military 22 years, and when I got out, I was looking for something to do with my time. Thank you. And I was sitting down watching the news, and it was the 501st doing a house visit for a sick child. And I was like, that's what I can do. I can do that with my time. And I've been doing this probably now for about 6 years. It took me a while to finally commit and submit my costume. But I've been doing it for a while now, and the 501st and the Rebel Legion and the droids have become my family. This is what I do when I'm not working now. So
I had, and this was, I don't remember how many years ago, someone had dragged me to a convention for anime stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's fun. And there was a Star Wars booth. It wasn't the 501st, but they'd be like, oh, I like your outfit. You seem to be good at like making stuff. Have you considered Star Wars? And I'm like, there's groups for Star Wars? Because it was a con that was like really little at the time, and not a lot of big groups had gone to it, but this Star Wars group had. And so that's kind of how I got in, is someone like saw the creativity, I guess, that I had, and like slowly brought me in. And then I went to more and more cons. I met more people, and this is like the best group of friends I have probably ever had and ever will have.
No, that's great. We are out of time, but I wanted to say thank you to these guys up on the stage. Thank you to the D Squad and all their droids here. Thank you to Dwayne and the 501st. But you can see all of them upstairs. Just go up the stairs. You can kind of see the droids up close in person. Obviously, there's a lot of folks that are in costume around here that are part of this organization. So feel free to go say hi to them and ask them all the questions you want. So let's give a hand for all these folks up here.